All right, guys, we're going to do a quick flip through my very first ever fully completed watercolor sketchbook. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to Deliberately Creative. I'm Stephanie and I'm going to show you my very first ever fully completed watercolor sketchbook. When I say fully completed, I mean every single spread has a painting on it. And I did not always paint on the back side of any of these pages. Let's get started going through here. This was a Hannah Mule watercolor sketchbook. It has the kind of fabric covered hardcover. And what I liked was that the pages all laid nice and flat as I was working with them. First up, I did some art materials. This was just some things that I had sitting there, and I did mostly pen and ink and watercolor in this with a little bit of gouache. This was a sketch late one evening in my living room, front windows, and I do have this little stained glassy thing. Getting ready for a trip to the coast. I wanted to start getting in that feeling, so I did some buoys. I loved the colors. This is done very much in a urban sketching style. It's sort of quick, loose, and I like that. I love the combination of pen and ink. But then I also like gouache. This painting was done with just black and white gouache, and there is a lesson. It's linked up above for this one. Sparkles on the water. We went to the coast, and this was my birthday trip, and I said, I want to stop at this place. This was Boiler Bay on the Oregon coast. It's a wayside park. We were sitting in our van, and I decided to draw what I was seeing, including my legs and hands. I don't do hands very often. I need to do them more. This was another view from the van. So looking out the side of the van at the campground. This was at South Beach State Park. And we moved on up the road from Newport to Tillamook and went to the Blue Heron Cheese Factory. This was a lot of fun. I sat in the front seat of the van and looked out, and they have this huge metal sculpture, and I wanted to get the feeling of it without being too specific. It worked. We went on up the road to Skamokawa Farmstead Creamery. Happy goats, happy cheese. And this little guy just looks so sweet. You'll see that I go back and forth in this book because I start using some photographs. And so this is in Skamokawa, Washington. This was driving down the road on Highway 101 near Tillamook. And I love this. I love the old kind of weathered look that I got here. I want to do more of this. If you're interested in more urban sketching from me, let me know. Leave that comment. This one just makes me think of a fun little children's book illustration. What do you think? I love the rust. And this was back at the Blue Heron. They had these free roaming chickens. But then this one is back up at the Skamokawa Creamery. And this is Petunia, Princess Petunia the pig. She has the full run of the place. And there were times when she tried to get into the van. It was so funny. But I love how the angle on the doors actually worked. This was my birthday cake. And now this, I'm really tickled with how the fork turned out. Getting reflections on metal is always interesting. Here's that palette with one of the owl mugs that I've got. And this was just sitting on a little wood table beside me in the living room. And I decided I'm going to do that. That's what I'm doing here. I'm just playing. I found a photograph of a frog. I liked how he turned out, this little froggy. He's got personality. And I like that I got enough contrast between him and the background so that he really stands out. I learned so much going through this. This is on my front porch, and it's a trailing flower coming from a big old flower basket. Turned out so pretty. And that's one of the seed pods or flower heads before they open. It's the flower before it opens. This is a jar on my windowsill. See, I'm doing sort of that urban sketching thing, but I'm doing it around the house, finding things that I can just stand there and draw for a few minutes. It's down the street from my house and across the street. But I took a photo of it and then decided to do just a picture of it. I changed things up here in front of their fence, and you know, I made it work. This was a sketch, and this is a sketchbook. Things don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be ready to sell. They can just be something that you've done in your sketchbook. I love the effects that I got here on this very loose little owl. This thing only took me a minute or two, well, a couple minutes to do, but I kept it loose on purpose. Yeah. This is an old log truck, and it was back on the Blue Heron Cheese Company, and I really enjoy this sort of faded old photo feeling to this. It makes me really happy, and I don't do a lot of vehicles, so to do something like that and have it come out makes me really happy. I also did this one straight with the pen. I didn't use a pencil when I drew it, so it really cuts your time down if you can draw with your pen from the beginning. This was from a photo on Unsplash, and I really liked this bright golden orange chair and the scene through the window. I left out the other chair and just made the curtain go all the way to the floor. This is one of those sort of like Route 66 type of scenes, the gas station. I love the way this old pump ended up looking really rusty. That makes me so happy. And again, it was done just with the 56 color artsy palette, but I didn't use a lot of colors. I kept it pretty limited. Then I did a couple doors. I was inspired by Urban Sketching World, and so I found a couple doors that I wanted to try. And this door really is in proportion to that wall. It's a very tall and narrow door. See that? It had like this tile thing down here that was kind of like a saint or something. Maybe their guardian angel for the door. Not sure. Here's another one. And the challenge was to use a really, really bright color. And so I was using really, really bright colors. But I had so much fun doing that. More doors. I want to do more doors. Do you like doors? This one was done from a photograph that I got permission to use from a friend, Donna Mulholland. She is a fiber artist and painter in Canada. This was from back in Newport in the actual town, and I just liked that pen and ink doodly type of thing with the buoys and no color. This one was just pen and ink doodling. The St. John's Bridge in Portland, Oregon. This thing is only about 5 miles. In the style of Jeff house. Carter. All the benefits without the headaches. This little shop, it's like a little heritage thrift shop. It is, he has this fun style of making everything wonky. So I was really inspired by his wonkiness. This is another picture from Unsplash, and it is in Denmark, I believe. Little fishing boat. And I drew the whole thing straight with the pen and then put the watercolor in. There's some overshoots. You see where my lines kind of go over. I started out with my boards the wrong angle, and so I fixed them. I think it's cool to see the progression through the painting. So I like that. And I like that I did that here in my sketchbook. I think this would make an awesome travel journal cover. Having these clothes as just white with only shadows makes this a better painting for me. I like that I didn't go too crazy with a bunch of colors because these were all brightly colored clothes and it just needed to be a little more subdued for me. I love the shutters on the windows and the partly open shutter so you see that little flower in the background. That just makes me happy. And then the Kiggins Theater. This one is a lesson. It's up here in the iCard. It was a kind of a long drawing because I drew it in pencil, then drew it in ink, and then did the watercolor, and then went back and did a little bit more ink here and there. I like it. I really like it. This would be my third place out of the entire book. And it was the last full painting. I have a little tiny water bottle doodle right here. And then that is the whole book. I hope that you enjoyed hanging out with me and checking out all of the different paintings in this sketchbook. Have you ever finished a complete watercolor sketchbook? I am really tickled that I did. I hope that you enjoyed and that you will leave me a comment. Let me know down below if you have finished a whole sketchbook, what your favorite type of sketchbook for doing watercolor in. That you guys remember, go out and do something creative. Oh yeah, that is one of my favorites too. And take care of yourself so you can take care of those around you. I'll see you back here again really soon. Bye-bye.